Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space. I hope you enjoy. Before the Humans, written by Prussian Joe. I woke with the sun, as I always do. I ate a meal that has been perfectly balanced to my needs. I leave home that is sized to fulfill only my basic requirements for living, because that is all I need. I go for a walk to meet my daily exercise quota. For if I do not, my body will not be in perfect condition. My people are a race of perfection. That's how it used to be, anyways. Before the humans. Minus 114.3 orbital periods ago. Minus 201.7 human years. To a human, the bridge of the unnamed ship would have seemed eerily quiet. Members of the people, as they are often called, manned their stations and transmitted data to each other via neural uplinks attached directly into each individual's brain. Information flowed from station to station, individual to individual, at speeds incomprehensible to most forms of life. However, the people were unlike most forms of life. They were a silica-based species, and their processing centers evolved into crystalline structures that handles data at speeds faster than most human quantum computers. And their technology had been built to enhance that even more. Within a microsecond of entering the system, the vessel began its preliminary scans. Within 10 microseconds, the advanced sensors had received a full image of the system, and within 4 microseconds of that, it was determined that there were radio and even FTL signals coming from the system's second planet. Closer inspection found something quite rare: carbon-based life. The planet was one of continents covered in green plants, bordered by vivid blue oceans. And in orbit sat 18 metallic objects that the people quickly recognized as satellites. Signals were intercepted, language was decoded, and information was searched out. In less than a minute, the entire satellite network, and by extension the planet's own information network, had been infiltrated, downloaded, and analyzed. Yes, there was life here, but it was of a kind the people had deemed irrelevant, wasteful, and unnecessary. The information was sent to every leader, every scientist, and every individual who had any say in the matters such as this. The answer was both instantaneous and unanimous. Follow standard procedure. Don't deviate from the status quo. In the blink of an eye, an enormous vessel was in orbit over the unnamed world inhabited by a species that the people would simply refer to by the numeric indicator, regardless of what the information received from the satellite system said. However, not all the people of the ship were in agreement. Everyone processed it, and nearly as soon as it was received, most saw what their leaders saw: waste. Yet others saw more. They saw intelligence, regardless of what their leaders told them about carbon-based life. There was a creation here, history, other worlds held by the things called humans. These individuals kept their thoughts to themselves, for the good of the people must come first, and humanity's fate had been decided. Mere seconds after entering planetary orbit, the vessel was assaulted with signals from the world below. Those of the people who saw more than nothing in this thing called humanity listened and learned their first lesson from the beings below. Humanity's first lesson to the people was compassion. Even as the vessel's enormous plasma arrays charged to begin cleansing the world, there came messages of peace and welcome. The world's leaders asked to communicate. Its people asked to learn. And even though there was some panic and fear, and even the occasional proclamation that God had arrived, humans looked to the heavens with open arms of welcome. The ship sat in orbit, charging its weapons and receiving every message sent to it. The people listened, understood, and, for the most part, dismissed it all. 10 minutes passed like this, and the vessel waited. Then a signal began to transmit to one of the satellites, meant to be aimed out of system to another world that the humans' data said contained still more humans. The signal had not even been fully received by the satellite when the vessel's smaller laser array fired 18 times. One shot reached satellite. And just like that, the messages stopped. For a moment, there was a silence as humanity realized what had happened. Then everything began anew. Pleas for mercy, calls for peace, and the thousands of other messages bombarded the vessel, who received them in silence. Then the plasma arrays finished their charge cycle, and the command to fire was given. A full quarter of the world burned in the first blast, and the messages changed. Humanity's second lesson to the people was agony. It took 1.4 human hours to glass the planet. A notation was made in the people's star charts, marking the world as clean. Then, just as suddenly as the vessel arrived, it left. The human state had told the people much. It told them that humanity controlled 7 worlds, including their home planet. It told the people that humans had yet to gain FTL travel for their ships, although they had mastered it for a transfer of signals and information some time ago. This meant that when the vessel appeared at the nearest human world, they were completely unaware that hours ago the same vessel had destroyed an entire colony of species. This would be no different. The vessel appeared in orbit, charged its plasma arrays, and received thousands upon thousands of flashes of information. As soon as the planet attempted to send a signal out of the system, the satellites were destroyed. As the people begged for their safety, weapons still charged, and as the planet burned under the vessel's sustained plasma discharge, the screams of millions echoed in the minds of those few of the people who did not agree with the consensus. As the planet burned, one signal escaped, a last-ditch effort to warn those other worlds of oncoming threat. The people cared not. The next human world met them with missiles, lasers, and primitive plasma bursts instead of messages of peace. The vessel's shields prevented any damage, and within hours another world was left behind, blackened and smoldering. Humanity's third lesson to the people was resistance. As each human world fell, as the vessel neared humanity's home, more of the people became disillusioned with the directive. What if they are truly intelligent? What if their leaders were wrong? What if this new species is actually like us? Questions flashed through the people's neural network like lightning, and while some were swayed into this new line of thought, most agreed the human worlds needed to be cleansed. 6 worlds had burned, and only the planet called Earth remained. With each world descent within, the people grew. And with humanity's final world, there was strife. The people were divided as they had never been before. The messages of humanity were played over and over between the people, and calls to halt the destruction were made. But the people had always needed consensus, and so the vessel charged its weapons as it orbited Earth. It ignored the cries of fear, just as it had for every world before. It shrugged off the weapons that were fired, and it waited. As the Earth burned, and as humanity was snuffed out from the universe, a new consensus was reached. The people mourned the loss of a species like themselves that they will never again meet. And humanity's final lesson to the people was shame. Present day. Society changed practically overnight. The new consensus saw the creation of behavior within the people that had never before been observed. The vast amounts of data recovered from the humans was analyzed again and again by every mind in the network, and the people began to truly understand what they had lost. Now, things were different. I woke with the sun, as I always do. I ate a meal that I enjoyed, even if it's not perfectly balanced. I leave my home that is built to provide me comfort and peace, as much as it is made to ensure my survival. I go for a walk, not because I must, but because I want to. As I walk through the park filled with plants of 1,000 varieties and colors, I recall the perfect efficiency of the past. The people once cared for nothing but progression, improvement, and perfection. We once believed that if it was not useful to us, it was not needed. We once thought that we knew how things were meant to be. That's how we used to be anyways, before the humans. End of story. I would quickly like to thank the T5 channel members and Patreons. Casper Arnholtz, Cam Maxwell, Barky, Lord Azrakal, It's Difficult to Pronounce, Dragzoon WRE, Holly's Sister, Arcadian. Thank you very much.